Welcome back to the shop today, guys. Today we got some more parts in for our CNC. I'm stoked. They're in this box right here. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we can do. All right, guys, it's a nice new day. And before you ask, yes, I have been working out. Thanks for noticing. But anyway, we hit 45 subscribers here recently, and that's awesome. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but for me, that's huge. So, I mean, I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for subscribing to start off with. And let's keep going on the CNC project and see if we can get a little bit closer to getting this thing done. So I just received this box in the mail. It won't be much of an unboxing because, yes, I did open it. But we're going to take a look inside, see what I all got here. Just another piece of the puzzle. Not everything I need to finish it, too bad. But so I'll get this. I'll open this up and I'll lay it out on the bench for you guys so you can see what I all got here. And we'll kind of explain the next plan of action to get the CNC going. So stick with me here, boys. That unboxed. Sorry for the noise in the background, guys. It is terribly cold today, and my shop does not heat very well. So I have all the heaters I own going right now. Yes, they are noisy, and I'm sorry, but I am cold. It is around minus 40 this morning, so I need to do what I can to stay warm. I should be bundled up a little bit more, but it makes me look fat on camera, and who wants that? But anywho, this is what we got. We got 4 of the motor drivers. This takes the black magic from the breakout board and sends it to your motor to know what it's doing. Some sort of voodoo witchcraft going on there that I don't understand. Power supply, this supplies all the lightning to everything. All the juice, 2 of these. And then I got 4 of these NEMA 23s. Smaller than I thought. I mean, I don't know if you know, like, I don't have terribly small hands, but I expected them to be physically bigger. And I mean, I saw all the measurements online, but they're all in metric, and I don't know how to read that. So anyway, they're a little smaller than I expected. I did originally want to go NEMA 34s. That was the main goal. But after doing some math, this should be enough power to do what I'm doing. And if not, whatever. This kit cost me everything you see here. Oh, it also came with a parallel port cord, which I'm not going to be using. And it came with a breakout board, a parallel port breakout board. This is a backup plan. This just came with the kit, so I just got it. I don't plan on using a parallel port board. I am waiting on a USB breakout board to work well with my laptop and the setup that I want to have. And I've heard some stories of the parallel port stuff just not quite working the way it should. But whatever. So we got the motors, we got the drivers, we got the power, and yeah, we got a breakout board. And if we have to go that route, we will. But I am still waiting on that breakout board. So I think our first plan of action is going to be mounting our motor, our one motor, to the top of our Z-axis. Boom, I'm going to go right there. And I'm going to put a plate up top here. And that'll go to a ball screw that we'll have that'll run this Z-axis up and down. And for the sides, I'm going to go right through the side here. These I might not be able to do yet because I need my rack and pinion setup that's going to be going onto this bar that's going to run in behind here. So that's where we're at right now. So I'm going to look into how I'm going to make that top plate for the Z-axis. Yeah, I think that's where I'll start because I think that's something that I can actually accomplish right now because I'll need those rack and pinions. I'll need those rack and pinions to finish the side plates. But without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so I've been doing some brainstorming, and this is what I kind of came up with. You'll kind of see more what I'm going after here. But I got a plate set up here. I will cut this down to size, but I'm going to mount this plate to the top of the Z-axis here. Let me just zoom out here a little bit, and I'm going to put some holes in this way and bolt this plate to this plate. And I might even put some gussets in the back here. I'll leave some overhang because I don't know what kind of strain this thing will really be under. I'll cut it down and I'll cut it to the right width and all that jazz and try to make it look semi-pretty. And then we'll take the motor, mount it to this plate, this way, and this little joint will join my ball screw and the motor. This came with my ball screw. It had too small of a hole, so I just sent a drill through there. Turned out pretty good. The grip's still pretty good. I don't know what kind of joint they call this, springy thingy joint. I can't line up the ball screw straight to my motor joint. I think that's what it's called. It's I'm not going to get it straight joint because this will allow, I don't know if you can really see it, but it flexes a little bit. It allows guys like me to make a little bit of mistakes, just a little one. So to cut this aluminum, I'm going to set up the table saw again. And yes, we're going to do the table saw again. It works really well. It's scary to use with the aluminum. I'll probably flip the breaker 9 times, but it'll get the job done. So we'll get the table saw set up, and yeah, let's get to it. Did I say it was cold? Because it's getting cold. I actually put up a third heater here, just kind of pointed where I'm working. Got my construction heater going, and I got my cannon heater going, but I'm running out of juice, boys. Running out of juice. So I might need to stop and go pick up some propane because I don't know how much longer I'm going to take it in here. It's cold. But I got the table saw inside. I'm going to get that set up. I got my first piece marked here. Just used a permanent marker and my caliper and just scribed the line. So we're going to snip that down that line. That's going to be my first cut. That's going to bring it to the same dimensions as this. And then I'm actually going to mount the motor to this plate first. And then wherever that plate ends up this way, that's where I'll mark it and drill my holes, and then I'll cut off the excess of whatever I need. That's the plan. So let's snip that piece of aluminum in half and let's go. Okay, so we got that cut. Did a pretty good job, just like last time. I mean, not the cleanest stuff in the world, but you know, it's the only other option I have to cut the stuff is an angle grinder. So this goes way faster and it's a lot straighter. And angle grinder discs, they're just not made for cutting aluminum. They gum up and they're just basically shot right away. They do make some fancy aluminum cutting abrasive discs for angle grinders, and I want to try one of those one day. But until then, good old table saw will do the job. Wear all the PPE, guys, all the safety equipment. Put your mask on, put your goggles on, put the face shield on, put your hearing protection on. If you got a hazmat suit, put it on, because those shavings get everywhere. And if you got a tear in your pocket like I do, you start catching some gremlins all the time. Anywho, so now I got that mounted, or cut. I'm going to work on the motor placement, get that centered, get the holes drilled for that thing. So let's keep moving on. Some holes, and I got a nice hole there, and that fits this little lip that's right on the motor there. I don't know if you can see that really. Let's see if I can get that thing to focus a little bit more. Maybe not, but there's a little lip there, and that fits pretty nice in there. It's a little sloppy due to my my hole saw. Actually, it's probably not the hole saw, it's probably my drill. My drill chucks a little cattywampus. But we got that drilled, and don't worry, got a full tank of propane. Now she's cooking. This might be a time to tell you guys to keep your propane tanks outside. Don't have them inside with your cannon heaters like that. So yeah, let's So now I'm gonna set this up a little bit, put the plate on, see if I, oh, sorry, no. I have to mark the holes where the motor is gonna be bolting down to that plate where you need to mount the motor to this plate, start there. Once that's mounted, then I'm gonna put it up against the Z-axis and line it up with this ball screw so then I know where this hole is gonna be height-wise this way. And then I will mark some holes to drill and tap into here. So I'm gonna mark out the holes for the bolt pattern of the motor. And yeah, we'll get that on and we'll go from there. Holes drilled and tapped for our motor, and I kind of just jigged it up here a little bit for you so you can kind of see. Sorry about the glare, the sun's barreling in here now, and it got warm enough that I turned off some of the heaters. I got the cannon heater tucked away, and I shut this guy off for filming a little bit just because I was losing some hearing, boys. But got my motor on to the plate, and I just jigged it up with some wood and some metal and some other magic, just so you can kind of get an idea what I'm going after here. It's kind of close to square. But what I found out is I didn't make this plate long enough in the beginning. My measurement must have been off a little bit because I'm overhanging a little bit here. And I don't know if you can see down in there, but I won't be able to drill a hole there to mount this thing. So two options. Either I make a spacer in between this and this, in between here, or I make a spacer and space the motor that way. I guess a third option would be if I welded something on the back of this thing, weld some material onto this bottom plate so I could drill and tap some holes, but don't really want to do that. However, that would be out of sight, out of mind. If I did that, you wouldn't see it. But it's coming together. I might just space this out with some washers for right now, just to get going on this a little bit. However, if I don't build that spacer now, probably never will. So I might just do that, put a piece of 1/4-inch aluminum in there or something, and then wherever the ball screw bottom bearing ends up, that's where it ends up, and just go for it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I should do that. So I'll make another little plate. I probably won't film that because it's basically the same thing I just did, just with a smaller piece of material. So I'll probably make a spacer plate and then mark my holes for the ball screw, and then I can mount the ball screw and then figure out how much overhang here I want. Because one thing I've been looking at is I'm gonna need to mount my back motor. This is my gantry bar here. I wanna mount my gantry, the back motor upright. It's gonna run on a gear mounted to this thing. And I might triangulate a piece off of that Z-axis with another plate going this way that'll hold another motor upright here. Once I mock it up, it'll probably make a little bit more sense. Up here, everything makes sense until you start putting it into, you know, action. So, yeah, so I'm gonna make a spacer for that motor, and we'll try to get that thing mounted. And then I'll drill and tap my holes that are gonna mount this plate to this plate, and it'll be just a row of bolts there. Hopefully those bolts are out of the way a little bit. If not, I'll space them out accordingly. Anyway, progress, starting to look like something. I think it's a little overbuilt, to be honest with you. I've seen some cheap Z axes on eBay and stuff like that. You can buy these things pre-made, and I don't think I've seen one this hefty, to be honest. So I'm probably a little bit overkill, but I did want to do a router first. So I mean, if I put a heavier router on there, you know, at least it'll support it, I hope. But without further ado, I will keep going, and I'll keep showing you the progress, and let's get this thing done. So that worked out actually very well, making that spacer. Like I said, I didn't film it 'cause it's the same as what I was doing before. But when I put that spacer in, I just did a quarter inch thick. But of course, now my problem is the bolts I had are too short now, so I got to find some more. I just have some hodgepodge bolts in there right now, just for mock-up here. So yeah, now that sits all flat, and that brings me just barely in here. It's actually really, really close. So that's kind of cool. So it'll look nice, and it'll look like I meant to do it that way, which is really neat. So that's a pretty simple fix there. So now I'm going to mark with a top plate where I can put my bolts that are going to hold this plate to this plate. So I'll drill those, tap those, bolt those on, and once that's done, like I said, I'll cut some excess off of here once I'm done. I'll wait to see what I'm going to need for overhang, if I need a gusset that or anything like that for some rigidity. But we'll get to that once that motor mounting plate is on the Z-axis. So I'm going to mark that up and drill it. I don't know if I'll show that. Maybe I'll video it. Maybe I won't. We'll see. Because just kind of drilling some holes and tapping some holes. It's really not that interesting. But we'll see what I come up with, and I'll show you once we get a little further. All right, guys. Another day, another start. It's cold again, so that's why you hear the heaters are back on. I got this place heated up half decent yesterday, but today's another cold start. So anywho, I jigged this up. So I just clamped this piece of the table. I just shimmed up some stuff, and basically I just lined up this ball screw centered with that motor, and I scribed a line. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, maybe if I move this. I scribed a line as to where this plate goes. So now I have a reference line for me to drill my holes up through this plate. So I am going to dismantle this, take this all apart, probably take the rails off, mark how many holes I want to do, and make sure those holes aren't in the way of my mounting holes here for the motor. They're getting a little close back there. I don't know if you can see those right back there. So they are really tight to that surface. But, I mean, if I have to, I can just cut the bolts down a little bit, and it should be just fine. So, I'll probably throw a time lapse on here and keep going. got that top plate mounted. It's looking pretty good. I kind of nailed it on the alignment here. I was afraid I was going to blow through here if I didn't get that all straight. So I'm happy that that all worked. It'll be a nice, it's a nice setup. Now these 3 bolts right here, 1, 2, 3, these do interfere with the motor. I kind of knew that was going to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to countersink these guys and put in bolts like this. I don't know if you can see them, but they are machine head screws, I think they call them. But they're tapered on the bottom. Tapered on the bottom so you can sit that bolt flat. So that's what I'm going to do on the top here once I get further along. Until then, I don't have any of those bolts. So until then, I'm going to take those 3 center ones out. The 2 on the end should be enough to support this while I mock the rest of it up. But no, it's looking good. So I'm going to mount that motor back up there, line up the ball screw, and I'm going to mark the holes for the ball screw, and then I can get that mounted, and then we're almost done with this, guys. So I'm excited. It's going way too well right now. So something is about to screw up badly. But that's part of it. So let's keep going. I'm almost finished. Okay, so I just finished drilling and tapping 2 of the mounting holes for our ball screw. I didn't show that because you guys see me be drilling and tapping enough, and this video is probably getting long. But here's what we got. I just did one here, just so it makes it rigid, so I can mark my other 4 I need to drill. I did that with just setting up all parts, the top piece of the gantry, the motor plate on. I assembled the whole thing, and I marked these 2 holes on my top plate, which is right there, and I ran it all the way to the top, marked this hole, ran it all the way to the bottom, and marked this hole. Actually, I think I marked this one first, then I clamped this, then I rolled it all the way back up, and I marked that hole, so I know that the travel from this thing, if this thing was off, this thing would want to bind. So if I did it right, I should be able to put my top plate on here and move this thing back and forth. So that's what we're going to try right now, and yeah, hopefully it works. Don't make fun of me, guys, but this is a lot of fun. So I just put the top plate back on, and I got my 2 holes in here. That's for that piece that rides up and down. I don't know if you can really see much of what's going on in there, but check this out. So I'm gonna do that for about another hour and a half, and then I'm gonna finish drilling all my holes, and really want to get this thing buttoned up today. So stick to the end and we'll see this thing finished. Well, guys, there she is, looking sharp. This thing's heavy duty, boy, but she looks good. She rolls nice. That'll be a nice unit. Now, I did notice I'm a little off here. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but this side's a little bit up. I mean, I'm not sure if this plate is necessarily straight. So once I have to take this off again to trim down the back and build off of here to make my other motor mount plate for my other motor. But when I do that, I'm going to take a file and run it sideways across the top of this plate and see if I can bring her down a little bit. Once I do that, it should square it up. So you can kind of see on that little joint, it's crushing to the one side that I'm not going to get it straight joint. and obviously I didn't. But pretty freaking close. So I am very impressed, and I'm proud that I did this. Yeah, I don't really know what more to say. It worked out really well. Just another step of the puzzle done. Yeah, and I need to buy some more bolts. Like I said, I need to countersink these guys and put some flat bolts in. I need to buy more bolts to hold the motor, etc. But that's all itty bitty stuff. I'll be able to do that later. So the next project will be, or at least I hope it'll be, where is my other motor here? Well, hopefully it'll be, and maybe you guys can understand this a little bit, but I'm going to build off the back of this plate. I'm going to join this plate to this plate, and I'm going to have a piece that comes down holding another plate here, and that's going to hold this guy. I don't know if that kind of makes sense. It's going to hold it right about here, and there's going to be a gear rack on here to make this thing move side to side. So that'll be one of the next projects. That'll be when I get gear racks. I don't know when that's going to happen. Kind of spent my last penny on these motors here, so I have to wait to build up some cash. But I have some other stuff that I'm hoping to show you guys in the meantime. So anyways, thanks for subscribing. If you haven't, please do. I really appreciate it. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I think last I checked I was at 49 or 50 as of this video, and that's, yeah, like, it's not huge for YouTube, but it's big for me. That's more than I ever thought would be possible. So it's a ton of fun building this thing. It's awesome when things go right. I didn't have to re-drill holes or make holes too big or whatever and just guess. So it worked out really well, and it's good to see a plan come together. Hey guys, I'm not using a lot of fancy tools. I think to build this project so far, minus the welder, I think I'm using less than $100 worth of tools. I'm just using plastic squares. I got a $9 caliper that I'm using. The center punch I got from Harbor Freight for like $2 on sale. Some punches that I made out of some steel, a knife, screwdrivers. The biggest piece of equipment is this drill press. You don't need to get fancy, boys. Just because everybody on YouTube has these fancy mills and lathes, you can do it. Just go ahead and do it. I'm cutting aluminum on a frickin' table saw, guys. Gotta do what's gotta be done. But all of those cheaper tools are making me build a tool that I can use to accommodate a lot of the tools I just mentioned in one sitting. So don't let anybody tell you can't. Just go ahead and do. And if they make fun of you, well, go out and prove them wrong. But anyway, thanks for stopping by, guys. Subscribe, hit the like button, comment if you want to, and I'll see you on the next one.